Some rivalries bred on some rivalries.
Is real. The long journey is over.
Did we just see what we think we just saw?
If that doesn't give you chills, you're never going to get them.
As good as it gets.
Some rivalries bred on geography, others based on excellence, and that's what we have here tonight. Taylor Davila, reigning player of the year in the USL Championship, looking to get Louisville City out of their mini rut, while the Tampa Bay Rowdies, led by MD Myers, look to keep their winning ways going. It's Louisville City and the Tampa Bay Rowdies. It's the USL on CBS Sports Network. You're watching the USL on CBS Sports, presented by Best Western. It's been the defining rivalry of the USL Championship over the last decade, and these two teams are back on top. Louisville City FC welcoming the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Coming into this game, Tampa Bay perfect through 10 matches this season. They sit in first place. Louisville City sitting in third, but quite a bit of a gap between them, 8 points because of Tampa Bay's early success. We're happy to have you with us on CBS Sports Network alongside Nick German Pro Devin Kerr. I'm Joe Malfa. Devin, these two teams haven't synced up the last couple of years. Who's hot, who's not, but they're finally back on top of the conference.
1-3. Louisville City, Tampa Bay Rowdies, Eastern Conference once again. Some things never change, right? The standard that these two have been able to carry over the last 9 years is because of each other. They find a threshold, they break through that barrier, and then they set a new goal. And their ability to chase each other has created sustained success, so much so that in nearly a decade, 42% of trophies available teams in this league have run through Louisville and the Tampa Bay Rowdies. But these teams are in very different places within their respective seasons. Let's start with Louisville, struggling right now. Just the third time in their organization's history that they've run into these issues in the field of play. They're dealing with health, they're struggling for form, and they're lacking confidence. The good news is for Louisville City is this team can still score at will. They can play in open field transitions, they're good on set pieces, and right now they're rounding out in form at the number 9 position. That was the biggest question coming into this season, was who was going to take the reins from some of the notables of years past. Chris Donovan, now 4 goals in back-to-back matches, all competitions.
On the other side for Tampa Bay, this turnaround hasn't happened overnight. Dom Casciato took the reins last year in July. Wholesale changes in the offseason for the roster.
The identification of talent is one thing when it comes to the front office for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. The character of each individual, how they're going to mesh within the dressing room, that's a very different one, and that's the most difficult area to get right. And yet the Rowdies have knocked it out of the park. Now 10 games unbeaten, just the 12th team in the history of the championship to start the season in that manner. They are on pace right now to have the best year-over-year improvement in league history. Balanced on the field, they can attack in deep-lying spaces, defensively stout. The Rowdies can do no wrong right now.
And you can do no wrong watching this game, because these two teams, when they meet, fun things happen. 17 of 18 previous matches decided by 1 goal or less. Most of them have 3 goals or more. It's the rivalry. It's Louisville City and the Tampa Bay Rowdies next on CBS Sports Network. You're watching the USL on CBS Sports, presented by Best Western. Players have made their way out onto the field here at Lynn Family Stadium. It's Louisville City FC welcoming the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Let's meet the 22 who kicked this game off, beginning with Louisville City.
Interim head coach Simon Bird's 3-4-3 is going to be about more control on the back line. That starts with Danny Fondes, who's back in goal. He's got to communicate to this 3 to help create that control going forward. The gap in front of Zach Duncan and Taylor Davila, very important. They're going to release and press up high in the attack. You get the late arrivals from one of the midfielders, but closing the gap down between the back 3 and the front line, very important, so that they can make sure the Tampa Bay Rowdies do not slice right through the heart of this Louisville defense. Now, Dom Casciato's 4-2-3-1 looks to do exactly that. The outside backs and midfielders can play narrow. They overload centrally. As they open up and transition, watch out. A commitment of numbers coming forward. They work really well off of each other. If you're going to get at this team defensively, you've got to move them. That's where the front 2 underneath Chris Donovan come into play. Make that back line work.
Gorgeous evening in Louisville. It's Louisville City in the purple from right to left. Tampa Bay Rowdies in their green and yellow from left to right. Nabil Ben Salah is the referee, wearing yellow this evening. First meeting of the season between Louisville and Bay. And away we go from Lynn Family Stadium. Happy to have you with us on CBS Sports Network alongside Devin Kerr. I'm Joe Malfa. 3 straight wins for Louisville in this rivalry. Before that, it was 3 straight wins for Tampa Bay in this rivalry. These teams have oscillated the last couple of years. Who's been up, who's been down? Louisville's been up the last 2 years, while Tampa Bay has retooled. Now it's the Rowdies who come in on top. Ball from Brian Schaefer. Schaefer, one of the newcomers to the Rowdies this season, coming over from Indy 11 last year within the championship. Showed you a moment ago the makeup of this roster. So many League One guys coming up from the 3rd division. One of the mainstays on the back line, Brian Schaefer, alongside Nathan Dos Santos. That duo has transformed the Rowdies this season.
Yeah, they've been excellent. The amount of control they've given the Tampa Bay Rowdies, home or away. Again, 10 games unbeaten to start the year. Just the 12th team in the history of championship play to be able to do so. And it starts from the center backs. There's a wandering nature at the outside back position. Puts a lot of pressure on Schaefer and Dos Santos, but they're clean in their decision making, they're physical, and they allow all the players in front of them to go explore. I am watching just in front the relationship between Max Schneider and Lawrence Wyke. Lawrence Wyke, cult favorite years ago, who have come back to the Rowdies last season, but with the addition of Max Schneider, Lawrence Wyke has struggled for reps at the outside back spot and within the midfield. Those two have only played 85 minutes together over 4 matches this year and have never started a game. Figuring out the tendency of the player next to you, Joe, always very difficult to do. Even if you do it in training, a level of competition, especially on the road at Louisville, is a very different conversation.
Still hardly figured out your tendencies after 6 years in the booth. Simon Bird, the interim head coach. All competitions, record at 8-5-1. A big win in there. And US Open Cup over Austin, taking down an MLS side. 3 straight losses in league play coming into tonight. First time that's happened since July of 2023 for Louisville City. Former head coach Danny Cruz leaving for a job in MLS a couple of weeks into this season. Simon Bird had been his assistant the last few years, slotting over a chair. Here's Zach Duncan, who was injured very early last season, and that put Louisville behind the 8 ball in the midfield. Didn't matter. They still went on to lose just 1 game in the season, lifted the Players' Shield. But this year, that combo of Duncan and Davila is something that has fans and the staff salivating. We haven't seen it still maybe enough as far as what they'd hoped. Duncan missed a couple of starts due to a couple of nagging little issues, but making his 8th start tonight.
I don't think we've seen the pairing of Duncan and Davila enough, nor the depth that could help assist them throughout all the competitions that have taken place this year for Louisville City. US Open Cup, USL Championship play, and then Brinks Tires Cup. Remember, Carlos Mogel has shifted into a center back position, can still provide depth. Baba Niang unavailable tonight. Kev Lambert and his injury, only seen him twice this season, so overutilized in some areas, Duncan and Davila, unfrequently in others.
Dominic Casciato in his first full season at the helm for Tampa Bay. Took over last year in July. Right around fall last year is when the worm began to turn. Going back to early September last year, the Rowdies are just 1 loss from 18 matches in regular season play. Of course, this year's 10 unbeaten to begin is what's going to buoy that, but even though he didn't have his guys, quote unquote, he started to get his fingerprints on the team. The hand he was dealt was starting to fall in line. They nearly came from the depths of the Eastern Conference to make the playoffs. But this year, new faces in, that success has continued.
Just 3 points separating the Tampa Bay Rowdies and the final playoff position in 2025. It did feel like 2 or 3 more games and they would have had their say, but instead, pen to paper in the offseason, virtually what you want. The statistics have now followed into 2026. They are the most balanced team right now in the championship. The way that they wander within the midfield, the excitement on the perimeter, defensively pinning you down. They'll press up high, and it feels like they haven't missed a single step to start the year.
It's scary, as you mentioned, the injuries for Louisville City. They've had their own injuries, and they've got some guys who are coming back into health, and Dominic Casciato thinks that's only going to make them better. It's going to be harder competition in practice for spots, and should bear out on the field. You and I were chatting coming into this game. Tampa Bay feels like they're never going to fall below a 7 in a given game. They may have few and far between that they rise up to a 10, and Dominic Casciato feels they haven't come close to that yet, but they're not going to fall below a 7 or an 8, and that's something that's been a theme around the league this year. Consistency is lacked for certain teams. If you're just consistent, you're going to keep putting out results the way they have been.
Yeah, that eventually, though, will catch the Rowdies. And I mean that in the sense of control within a game and creating more separation. The growth that they've been able to experience, excellent. But head coach Dom Casciato very clear that they've lacked in late game heroics to really close games out. Certain times where they felt like they were on the front foot, didn't bag the second goal or the third goal. So in league play, the 10 games unbeaten to start the year, 7 games decided by a goal or less. The law of averages tells you that as quality continues to build for the Rowdies, so it does for other teams as well. And you need to find a way to create more confidence and make sure that you're bearing these chances, continuing to eliminate threats. Thinking that they're going to go 34 games unbeaten needs to be removed from your mind right now.
We got to get through tonight first. Serrano for Davila. Short corner routine. Davila drops it in. Amadou Dia gets it back into the mix. Tosh battling. Macaulay Akale goes in strong, wins it. Off-season acquisition from New Mexico United. Macaulay Akale has maybe been utilized less than expected. This is just his second start, 6th appearance overall. Hasn't been a health thing. It's been a fit thing. Only 1 goal to show for it for Akale. Mentioned how close the games have been this year for the Rowdies. It's par for the course tonight. Alluded to it earlier. 18 previous meetings between these clubs, 17 of them decided by 1 goal. The one exception, you got to go back to 2017, a 2-0 Rowdies win. Perez. Dos Santos. Wyke. And spring Ostrom, long diagonal. Flicked away by McFadden. Injuries plagued McFadden earlier in the year. Back into March and April. Just his 5th appearance, 4th start tonight. Going into last game, though, before Chris Donovan backed his brace, Fadden with 2 goals was up there for the team lead. And it's a testament to Louisville City and just how much talent they have. We mentioned it in the open. 2nd in the league in goals scored, but their leader hadn't really been pacing the rest. It's been very spread out, the scoring, so far for the boys in purple. 10 with a long throw here. Schaefer winding up. Into the penalty spot, flicked on toward goal. Eddie Fondes has it, having to battle the sun in this first half, Fondes. Tosh looking long, flag stays down. Donovan gets there. Confronted by Schaefer. It's Donovan. 2 goals last game in the 4-3 defeat at Miami. Scoop through towards Serrano. A lot of traffic in front, but Jamali Waite has it.
A good sustained pressure up high for Louisville City. Quick turnover and then right back to the races. Love the vision here from Taylor Davila. Feels the threat on the back post, sees the separation. Just a quick slicing ball. You've got 1v1 between 4 different players inside the 18. Why not take a chance? Good look.
Free kick coming now for Louisville City. First, it actually looked like McFadden might have been called for it, and that's what some of the Rowdies players were pleading for, but Nabil Bensala got the push in the back right there. Lingering on McFadden first. Really not much in that. He came sprinting in, Nabil Bensala, pointing back a couple of yards to that initial contact. Louisville might be fortunate there. See if they could do anything with the set piece. Davila stands over it. Reigning player of the year in USL Championship. It's 4 assists this season. It's Serrano delivering instead. Jamali Waite has it tracked very much a disparity between the goalkeepers in this one tonight. Jamali Waite has been a top goalkeeper in this league for a few years. He started for Jamaica at Copa America in 24. He was their backup in their World Cup playoff matches earlier this spring. On the other side, journeyman Danny Fondes has gone back and forth with Hugo Ferrou. So edge between the sticks tonight, decidedly on the Rowdies side. Akoff, numbers here for the Rowdies. Akoff punched away by Fondes on the volley. It's into the supporters group.
Well, that's 100% the sun for Danny Fondes, struggling to see it on the ball. Cut from the byline, well done by Dean Akoff. There's an interesting tactical switch by the Tampa Bay Rowdies. We'll break all of it down in a second. Most importantly is pushing Akoff even higher, if that's a possibility. And they always release the outside back in transition. But with the addition of Lawrence Wyke into this group, you know, his versatility, play him in the midfield, into the center back position. They are trying to run with this hybrid three. Dos Santos, Schaefer, Wyke, left to right. Ostrom is allowed to then pivot on the left, Akoff on the right. I'm surprised they're doing it, not because I've never seen Dom Casciato do it before, more so that he doesn't do it with the Rowdies, and he doesn't do it with this grouping. Again, Lawrence Wyke making his first start of the season. Profile of player is one thing, disrupting what they've done all year is another.
Akale showing the speed. McFadden. Another service in. Dia rising above, loose in front. Waite has it gathered once again. On the front foot early, Louisville City.
Positionally, it's really challenging the Rowdies as well, and that's on the defensive side of the ball. Cruz and Perez on the left, Akoff on the right. You know, Perez and Akoff can interchange. Dolabella trying to find a little rhythm centrally. There are a lot of players wearing a Rowdies uniform right now that can handle a bunch of different jobs. What you have to be careful of is that you're not all trying to do different jobs. There are going to be plenty of situations against Louisville City where you have to win the one-on-one matchup. You have to make sure you're locking down space. And 13 minutes in, when it transitions, they're having some trouble with the pockets. That's just about communication, shoring up those tendencies.
Dos Santos. It's Ostrom. Dos Santos again. A lot of praise for Dos Santos from his head coach Dom Casciato this week. Just a proven winner back there. Danger for a moment. Jones wasn't sure Duncan was going to get it and vice versa. Santos coming over from his success in Charleston. Before that, a Players' Shield in Pittsburgh. Before that, a national title collegiately at Marshall. So one of the two big pieces that Rowdies went out and got this offseason. MD Myers, the other up top. Both coming from the Charleston Battery. Maybe two of the most important acquisitions of the offseason. Weakening one of their competitors in the East while strengthening themselves. Asking for a foul call, does finally get it. These two teams 15 minutes in starting to remember the rivalry.
Feels a little bit tight, the whistle, though. Wouldn't say super tight. The referee's let a little bit go, but that's more persistent. That's a foul.
That's a foul.
The previous two, it's more so. The referee pulling the whistle there. About the 12th minute, you and I kind of looked at each other. There wasn't a ton in it, which, as you and I always discuss, I don't mind if a referee calls that game and kind of there's a gray area there, a little bit more tighter, as long as we're getting the same sort of thing in the 40th minute and the 70th minute. The waxing and waning is where players start to get confused.
There's also a level of knowing coming in, if you're Nabil Ben Salah, the history between these teams. the first versus third place nature of it. Maybe calling it a bit tighter early. Serrano drops it in toward Adams. Would love a goal on a set piece tonight, Kyle Adams, to erase the horrors of last week. An own goal off his head. Danger here. Weak header back. Fondez clears. A similar moment last week. Kyle Adams had a blind pass back into the path of Jurgen Locadia. That was scored. Make it 4-2.
That's an incredible read by Danny Fondez. And regardless of who's donning the shirt and goal for Louisville, always a high line, aggressive with the back three, and smart. If he's not in that advanced position, that's an incredible opportunity in transition for the Rowdies. Really well done by the goalkeeper.
Sebastian Cruz. Dos Santos. Dolabella. Dolabella, one of a handful of players in this Rowdies group that played for Dominic Cacciato in USL League One with Union Omaha. Wide for Rakoff. Tying it up, Schneider curling it back post, fed in front, traffic there. Stays out on the volley, saved by Fondez. Defending the box has been an issue for Louisville City. A flurry here yields a corner for the Rowdies.
Really well done again by the goalkeeper. It is hard to express how difficult of a save this is for Danny Fondez with the sun in his eyes. Quality possession by the Rowdies, and I love the numbers committed on the back post here with different levels. The cutback has to be more to the top of the six. That's where Dolabella wanted it, but a good reaction to get a second effort back off. Now go to the goalkeeper. Traffic in front of him, the sun shielding his eyes, and still parrying it aside from point blank.
Schneider will deliver from the corner. Schneider drops it in. Header flashing in front from Dos Santos. Hands above the head immediately, realizes what a chance that was. Tomorrow at 1 Eastern, more footy action as Mallory Swanson and the Chicago Stars host the San Diego Wave in an NWSL showdown right here on CBS Sports Network.
Oh, how's the ad in the corner of that stadium? At the corner of whiskey and soccer. Dear Lord, Xanadu does exist. It's the nexus of the universe. Whiskey and soccer.
I'm trying to think if there's the third thing that could take it over the top, but I think that's all you need. Those two. More than enough.
Nice exchange.
Dolabella. All of a sudden, Rowdies starting to exert their control on this game, taking the territory, taking control of the ball. 60% of the possession.
That's an interesting look centrally, too. Almost a diamond at times with Dolabella, Louis Perez, and Cruz operating in front of Schneider. What they have to be careful of is as they move forward is creating support for MD Myers, because real quick, he'll get caught 2v1 and 3v1s, those center backs.
Ostrom feeding it through. Took a slight touch in the six. Comes all the way out for a throw. Favor of the Rowdies. Louisville's arguing it here. I also thought it was last off of a Rowdies player, but
the communication in your team meeting would have been that if it is box entries, their striker, MD Myers, he'll go front post as he comes. Where's the second and third level coming from? It's a good ball into the box. The only thing is they're quite linear with all their positioning. One after another. Look to the left side of your screen. I like the arrival by Louis Perez. It's just got to be cutting an angle.
Schaefer's long throw again for the penalty spot. Bounces Duncan tries to clear, fouled from behind. Nice Schneider. Starting to see it for the Rowdies, what the vision is for Dominic Asciato. He gives so much license to the wingbacks, and whether it's Akoff on the right, Ostrom or Cruz interchangeably on the lefts. About halfway through this first half, starting to call their names more and more. This is how the Rowdies want to see it. This comes as a double-edged sword at times with those guys getting caught up high, and it's how they've been done in for some goals if Louisville can get in behind it.
That's necessary, though, for the Rowdies. Conversations with both head coaches, you and I addressed the topic, and a real understanding by Louisville City of how impactful the outside backs are. When they start to move into advanced roles, that starts to apply more pressure and push the opponent back. It also gives more freedom to the midfielders. If the midfielders start to pinch out wide, you almost get an underlap moving forward, but also defensive coverage.
Bensala calling Donovan and White over for a conversation. Signal was out for a corner. Across from Serrano taking a deflection.
Right on cue. What you don't want, though, as Ostrom and Akoff start to move high, doesn't matter if it's in possession or quick fire nature, the concession of space in behind. That front three, very mobile for Louisville City. Even with the addition of Makweli Akale into how you want to break it down to operate more in a gray area, you can pin this back three back, go 1-for-1. Lawrence White caught in that situation just now, making friends as usual.
Guess who's defending who on this corner? White and Donovan entangled again. Davila's in swinger. Nobody making that back post run. As he comes back up the field, Davila palm stretch to the sky, wondering who missed the cue. Is it a service? Was it a run?
Just blame the sun.
At the other end, maybe.
He can get away with it in this half. Interim head coach Simon Bird has to deal with it. Also accounts for the quality glow in the nearing the Louisville summer.
I think they'll take a goal any way they can get it right now to take the front foot over Tampa Bay. 3 straight losses for the first time in 3 years against a Rowdies team that's unbeaten through 10. Whether it's the glare, whether it's a deflection. They're scoring plenty, Louisville, but getting on top in games has been an issue during this 3-game losing skid. They have not had a lead at any point.
They certainly haven't been playing well in the last couple of matches. I'd make the #1 argument health. This team hasn't had first choice selection for what they would deem a starting 11 since early April. That's nearly 2 months, and dear Lord, how many games come into that window? I'd go a step further, though, Joe, in that as troublesome as it's been defensively, to your point, they can still attack. This is a good roster. This isn't a throw the baby out with the bathwater, team's not going to make the playoffs type situation. It's struggling for form and confidence. Let's build that back up.
Jones stepping up, being handled from behind, advantage played. Fed through toward Akale. Jones. To that point, we had asked Simon Bird what it'll take to get this team on track. Training's been good, film sessions have been good. He's maintained that. Just hasn't come up in the games the way they've been hoping as of late. Mistakes in both boxes. Chance now in the box for Davila, feeding it through. Some contact there, fed toward goal. Akale steers it wide. Those are the moments where they haven't been as good as they typically have in the past.
Love the run, popping out of the midfield. Smart vision by Amadou Dia. As he holds this on the near touchline, watch the release. Great step right through the middle by Davila. That's why he's the player of the year from 2025. The understanding of when to drop out of the pocket, explode down into the corner. And that restricted position from Makweli Akale, this is something you want to see more out of Louisville City. They can fire in the open field of play, but when teams are mid to low, the ability to break him down, he's really good with the ball at his feet. Great work rate off the ball and can find those little pockets to operate within. To cap that conversation as well.
losses in 4 of 5 in all competitions. That hasn't happened since May of 22. Now, Simon Bird, the interim head coach for Louisville, that was his first year a part of the first team coaching staff. He became an assistant coming out of the academy. That 22 team dealt with a lot of struggles as well. Health, inconsistent form. They lost 4 of 5. That started mid-May and ended early June. And I said, do you draw any similarities? He said, yeah, I see a lot within this group compared to that group, trying to find a way to get more of a leadership role in the absence of some prominent players within the locker room. It feels like all they need is a win, just to get them headed in the right direction. And to his point, that team in 22, they lost 4 or 5. They got to win. They went 10 games unbeaten.
Right.
So it's within this group that there is a path to success. They just got to take that first step.
That 22 season ended in the final, losing to San Antonio, a team that was injured at the time, Louisville City, going into that final. And they were only a handful of points off of hosting that final instead of visiting San Antonio as well. So it turned in a very big way. To that point, lacking for confidence, nothing better to boost your confidence than beating your age-old rival in this league, and beating them while they're unbeaten, handing them their first loss of the season.
That's a really good quick release from Jamali Waite to spring this attack.
Space through the middle. Louis Perez brought down. It's a free kick for the Rowdies. It's a yellow for Jones. The question is, where is this ball going to be placed? There was a couple of bits of contact there. Is it the initial contact or the continuation? So it's a closer opportunity at goal here.
So smart from Jamali Waite. And this is the space I was talking about in front of Duncan and Davila and Lou City's midfield as the goalkeeper steps up. No pressure on Schneider whatsoever. You got about 20 yards. That not only is there separation, you've got support. Tampa Bay Rowdies condense in the midfield, create their mismatches. Great stretch right up through the engine room. Dolabella off the right shoulder, even though Perez doesn't have that stretch coming up high in front of him. Excellent job of carrying this forward for the Rowdies in transition and drawing the foul.
We've got our answer. Nabil Bensalah has placed it at the point of that second bit of contact. Might not seem like much, but from this position, those extra 6-7 yards make all the difference. Perez standing over it.
Look at MD Myers, bottom right side of your screen.
Wide open.
Careful.
Perez runs over it. Toward goal, deflected by the wall. Here's Myers. MD Myers feeding it through. Cleared at the tail end. It'll be a throw right next to the corner flag for Tampa Bay.
It's MD Myers quick on the draw. You know, playing back to goal, working off of players and finding that second or third pass is where he's really taken a step. But I love watching this kid turn inside an 18. Just drops that shoulder, spins the corner, quick release.
No mistake in this first half from the Rowdies. And tidied up, especially in the attacking third. Adams sends it long. Something that's come up more this year for Louisville City than it did last year. Part of it's been being down in games, but they've been more direct in nature than they have been in the past. Cruz. Swung around to Ostrom. Cruz again, blocked on a play. Sean Tosh, ever present on this back line for Louisville City. Most appearances and minutes in league history. That back three. To call it a first choice back three might be a misnomer because Brendan Days has come on, a bright teenager for Louisville City, but it's the most experienced back three Louisville City could put forth. This one squeaks all the way through. For the first time last week, we saw it. Josh Jones had a couple of appearances off the bench coming back from injury. Made his first start of the season last week in between Tosh and Adams. These are the three guys in terms of the experience that I think Simon Bird was hoping would steady the ship, and then they turned in one of the worst performances of the season last week against Miami.
Here are the different levels that come along with the lack of personnel in the selection process for your team. You think, okay, health and these guys can't play. Sure, but then you have rotating pieces positionally. And as it relates to the back three, guys struggle for confidence. Communication starts to become even more inconsistent. The goalkeeping position behind them comes into this as well. So now all of a sudden, it's not three. You're talking about four players that are lacking form and lacking stability. Goalkeeper controls everything. And when that position has constantly been changing, that's a problem. That is the #1 spot. You need to start the communication to get into the three in front. That can then relay that to the sixes, so on and so forth.
Long throws have been a weapon for Josh Jones last year and this year. Gets it to the edge of the six, flicked away by Schaefer. Takeoff goes in, lost it to Tosh. Sean Tosh curling toward goal. Jamali Waite has it handled.
He's well out of position, though. Be careful here. Plenty of space for the Rowdies.
Slow it down into a more methodical build instead. Cruz. Dominic Casciato had incredibly kind words for Sebastian Cruz as he lays it off again here. One of the players that came from USL League One that Tom coached against last season before taking the Rowdies job. He felt that Cruz would come in, compete for minutes, have a role on this team. He didn't think he'd turn into one of the best players on the team, and he sees him being one of the best players in the league when all is said and done this season. Dolabella. That's off of Dolabella. Great tackle by Jones. Pumped about it.
To your point on Sebastian Cruz, though, a young man that first graced us with his presence in 2018 with Sporting Kansas City 2, then known as the artist Swope Park Rangers. And his versatility positionally, playing him in the midfield, using him out on the wing, and marking back, and he's got great vision. An unusual path for a pro, though, that you know, you step into the championship, second division United States, you don't get a homegrown deal, doesn't go your way. I'm gonna go play 4 years at Cal State Fullerton. No slouch in the T1 college soccer world. And then it's in the League One. And then it's in a championship place. Done really well for himself, really gaining some confidence. And I just love him on the ball. Sebastian Cruz has excellent decision-making regardless of where he's at on the pitch. Always finding the right direction to head.
Step from Adams, making life difficult for Dolabella. A little extra in the end of that. Serrano, as play continues, bending it forward for Donovan. Haven't called Donovan's name as much as I think Simon Bird would have hoped to this point, considering the streak he's on coming in. 2 goals last game in the loss to Miami. 2 goals in the match prior in USL Prince Tires Cup. A win over Fort Wayne of USL League One. 4 goals in the last 2 games for Chris Donovan. It's carried over to the training ground as well. Since Simon Bird just looks sharper and even small-sided games, finishing everything that's in his direction. Feels like it's fully turned. A striker now in form and confident, but hasn't had the ball much today. With 10 to go in this first half. Dolabella cleared half-heartedly by Jones. Best man of that in the end. Talk about confidence. Donovan brimming with it now in the attack. Kyle Adams very short on it on the back line for Louisville City. Had an own goal last week. Had an assist to Miami, I guess is the best way to put it. That made it 4-2. He was subbed off immediately after that. It wasn't a statement per se from Simon Bird. He was planning to take off a center back anyway to go for a more attacking-minded formation. Just happened to be Adams after that mistake. Long throw again from Schaefer. Jones clearing. Ostrom on the volley, and it blocked. Ashram again. Tosh again.
With the dominant numbers the Rowdies have up high, I'm surprised they haven't tried to triangulate in smaller spaces instead of going direct.
Here's Donovan, direct from McFadden. Santos tracking back to help after White fronted him initially. Well, given away. Donovan settles. Ray Serrano teeing it up. Serrano blocked by Schaefer. Still on for Louisville City. Serrano dancing through and cleared. Adams stepping into space. Amadou Dia driving one in, looking for Donovan. He's going out for a goal kick. Ostrom kept it alive and in the danger. Now he's clear to midfield. Space for Dia. Akoff closes ground quickly. It's lost off of Amadou Dia. It is not the youngest battle of wingbacks on this near side of the field.
Easy.
32-year-old Amadou Dia, 34-year-old Dion Akoff still showing they've both got plenty of juice left in the legs.
There's no doubt in my mind that playing 11v11 on a Sunday, those boys will be on my team any day of the week, and certainly twice on Sunday. The engine, the top end speed, and being respectful of their profile. Dion Akoff a little bit bigger as you get the close-up view. Neither one of them are going to win the bench press competition. That's not a negative thing. Just all the more so impressive how physically demanding they are of their opponents on the field of play.
Akoff's probably putting up a few more reps though than Dia.
Certainly more than me.
Tosh. It's really stuck out to me as one of the biggest differences in Louisville's game this year versus last year. Last year they couldn't put a foot wrong. So much of the build was through the lines and connecting in the beautiful game. This year they've had more of their success when they do simply bang it forward and play for that second ball. Utilizing these moments when they pop up. Josh Jones and that special long throw. If you're right about here, I think this is maybe the outskirts of his range. If you're halfway between the end line and midfield, he's going to reach the 6 of the penalty spot. On the line, of course, it comes up short that time.
Nice touch.
Davila scooping it through. Serrano was there, so was Akale, harmlessly out of play.
I was praising MD Myers for how quick on the draw he is within the box. How good. It's Taylor Davila, man. That kid just constantly amazes. You know, the repress is coming back over the shoulder. Come and get it. Back over the right, onto the left foot, into the danger area. Ray Serrano knows it's off the touch, and some choice words for his decision.
Santos. A lot of patience from Tampa Bay. It's a bit of a misnomer that they maybe prefer to play this way. They can be lethal in transition, and that's something that Simon Byrne alluded to in our conversation. Just because they're more possession-based and playing through the middle doesn't mean they can't burn you when things get stretched. This is the tempo they prefer to play at, the Rowdies. I suppose that's true of some of the best teams in the league year in, year out. They maybe have a preferred way to play, but they can do whatever you want in any given game and adapt to the situation. It's how you turn out results. Whatever's thrown at you. Long throw coming for Josh Jones. This one better situated, closer to the corner flag. Jones doesn't get the flick on, was aiming for Tosh. Davila again on that left foot. Davila through. And be cleared by Schaefer. Dia wide for Akale. McQuilly Akale low ball in. Waite has it tracked and grabbed it. Goals at a premium so far tonight around USL Championship. The one earlier kickoff, Charleston Battery up 2-0 on Detroit City with 10 minutes to go. The 4 matches that kicked off at 7 p.m. like ours, all scoreless. Hartford hosting New Mexico, Indy hosting Rhode Island, and Pittsburgh hosting Miami.
It's Colton Swan on the score sheet once again for the Charleston Battery. Now 4 on the season, has an assist to his name as well. Just one of 3 players outside of the MLS universe called up to the United States men's national team U19 camp.
Yellow for Cruz.
An unnecessary one as well for Sebastian Cruz and his matchup here against Duncan. It's not even open field of play, and Duncan only has the ability to continue to the far side and play 5 or 7 yard ball. Cruz just stays constant with the pressure over the back shoulder. You organize yourself defensively. Allow your teammates to get behind the ball and instead gets himself in trouble and into the book.
First card on the Rowdies side. Josh Jones has one on the Louisville side. Duncan. Akale. This is where he's most dangerous, Akale. See the build, small, shifty. McFadden looking back post. Waite has it again. It's commanding his box. Jamali Waite. Part of it is Waite himself. The other part of it is the back line for the Rowdies. In his 7 starts this season, 4 clean sheets. Save percentage at 80%. Donovan. Akale. Dos Santos stands him up. Cruz is going out alone here. He gets Tosh to lunge in, and a free kick. Lack of awareness there from Tosh. It was 5v1 in favor of Lou City. Cruz pleading for a card. Looks like Tosh will get away with that one.
In the open field of play, it didn't feel like he had gotten the player. I thought he had the ball in that situation. Turns out no.
Cruz was starting to turn away toward the sideline, and the cavalry was there to help Tosh, but instead gifting the Rowdies a free kick here. Final minute of this first half, plus whatever stoppage time has in store. Can't imagine it's much. It's been a pretty straightforward half number 1. Half though still without a goal. Since these teams met in the 2022 conference final, a 1-0 scoreline that night, every single game they've played has had 3 goals or more. It's usually a point of eruption. Hasn't happened yet. Schneider's free kick, and it won't happen now. Two minutes of stoppage confirmed. Free kick now to Lou City. Not much separating these teams tonight. 5 shots to 4 in Tampa Bay's favor. 2 shots on target to 1 in Louisville's favor. Rowdies a decided possession edge, 61-39. It's par for the course, not much separating these two clubs. In their previous 18 meetings, the aggregate score, Louisville City 26, Tampa Bay 25.
You're special.
Of 18 matches decided by a goal. It's been 10 seasons since they played a game that was a multi-goal game. 2-0 Rowdies win in 2017. What you're going to get when these teams meet. We've gotten it so far. Davola's free kick. And stand by Dos Santos. One last long throw for Jones. That's what Diaz asking for you. Wanted to go quickly there, it looked like. Dia, the veteran, slowing things down, getting Jones in there. Final play of the half. Jones looking front post, flicked away. Serrano deflected. Waite makes one last save. 2 minutes come and gone. That'll bring us to the end of the first half. A rivalry rekindled between Louisville City and the Tampa Bay Rowdies. The first place unbeaten Rowdies. The Louisville side sitting in third. The losers of 3 straight games looking to get back on track. Goes into the break scoreless on a gorgeous evening here in Louisville. These fans have been loud the whole way, waiting for a reason to erupt and get their team back on track. It hasn't happened yet. But you know what's coming with these two teams when they meet, the way things go. The USL on CBS Sports is presented by Best Western. Scoreless so far between Louisville and Tampa Bay.
nous aurons parmi les 26 joueurs sélectionnés Carlfred Santé.
That was great stuff out of El Paso. Carl Sainty, one of the representatives of the USL Championship at the World Cup, mobbed by his teammates as he watched the live reveal of his name being called part of the 26-man roster for Haiti, and one of 4 active players in USL Championship that will be headed to the World Cup. Eloy Room and Jurgen Locadia, Miami teammates, and Curacao teammates. Duke Lacroix and Carl Sainty, teammates for Haiti. We'll see USL involvement at the World Cup in other ways as well. 3 teams hosting 3 different nations. Cabo Verde will be in Tampa Bay. Rowdies' home site, Oakland Roots, will welcome Australia. And Orange County will host the United States men's national team for a World Cup on home soil. Welcome back in the booth. Beside Devin Kerr, I'm Joe Malfa. Devin, you've been around this league longer than I have. This is significant to have such involvement in this tournament.
I look at it as education. The understanding of the growth of the game is one thing. Talent level, pulling from the pool, trying to advance the quality of competition is another. But educating people about this league globally and how the World Cup can help the USL Championship. There are 8.3 billion people on the planet. The 2022 World Cup in Qatar saw 5.6 billion people watch at least 1 minute of World Cup play. That doesn't even include people coming into the country that are going to go, what's the championship? What's the second division? The understanding of what this country has to offer and how it relates to USL Championship play, they are only going to benefit from the 2026 World Cup, and I can't wait to watch.
We're going to be 2 of the 5.3 billion watching in a couple of weeks when the tournament kicks off and the world gets educated on some USL Championship. It was an informative first half. Louisville, Tampa Bay, not much separating them, scoreless through 45 minutes. It is a gorgeous evening in Louisville. The homeside Louisville City and the visiting Tampa Bay Rowdies are scoreless through 45 minutes. Look back at highlights from the first half of action. These two teams have really spent a lot of the time in the middle third. 10 combined shots, only 3 on target.
Fun one tactically, though. A change from the Tampa Bay Rowdies, working out of the 3-back system, saw Deon Akoff higher than normal, and within that, he had a couple of opportunities in the opening 15 minutes. Good service into the box. The problem that the Rowdies struggled with in the first half, though, it wasn't about getting up high. It was about making the right decision when they got to that area. So as Max Schneider starts to push himself in, this is a beautiful ball to the back post. The problem is Dolabella's in the wrong spot. That secondary shot, he should have been there to begin with. If the ball gets laid back to him, he can step through it. Instead, he's reacting. Danny Fondez, excellent first half. Couple of saves to get this team rolling and help Lou City build themselves into the match. Really the best opportunity we saw for Louisville, though, was just before halftime. Secondary flick that comes back out from Lawrence White. Well done by Ray Serrano, and it's a deflection off of McFadden that sees Jamali Waite pick it up. Good news for Lou City. They did a good job defensively. They kept the game in front of them. They were extremely organized, and they limited one of the best chance creation teams in the entire championship to a smaller XG than themselves. Bad news for Louisville. Still looking for a little bit of presence underneath that front line. I see space there to be had for the home team, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies, with their tactical change, vulnerable in transition, vulnerable just outside their own box.
See how these coaches in the chess match tweak things going into half number 2. The crowd is ready to erupt for a goal. Maybe Float or Sting will get to enjoy it as well. The mascots for Louisville City. Scoreless through 45 minutes. Half number 2 on the way. Grayson O'Barr honored at halftime from Norton Children's in conjunction with Louisville City. Their kit captain here this evening for Louisville City against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And with that, we'll take a look at our travel map brought to you by Best Western. One of the guys who's been all over the field tonight for the Tampa Bay Rowdies is Sebastian Cruz.
The way that Dom Casciato deploys him is very difficult to find any sort of rhythm if you're a Lou City defender. He pops in centrally, works his way out onto the width. What I want to see from Sebastian Cruz here in the second half is more link-up play, working in the gray area, the half channels, and back towards the inside. He was condensed a lot in the first. He found good combination play, but just lacked that final ball. And for the player that had the most passes in the final third, donning a Rowdies jersey, that's important. Continue to play through him, build his confidence. He could be the difference maker in the second 45 minutes.
Cruz does have a yellow to remember. 2 cards from that first half. Cruz for Tampa Bay, Josh Jones for Louisville City. Rowdies making a change at the break. Evan Conway coming on for Lawrence White. See how that moves things around the board. And away we go in half number 2. Rowdies right to left with the green and yellow. Louisville left to right in the purple. Alongside Devin Kerr, I'm Joe Malfa. Glad to have you with us on CBS Sports Network. Curious how this ultimately materializes over the next 5 minutes for Tampa Bay. Lawrence White playing tonight as a center back in what was initially a 3-back for the Rowdies. Conway coming in, a crucial attacking piece for Tampa Bay. 2 goals and an assist this season. Had 9 goals last season playing with North Carolina. Picking up where we left off, a long throw on the way for Tampa Bay. Schaefer flicked clear by Jones, kept alive by Ostrom. Cruz all the way back for Jamali Waite.
I would imagine what you're going to see from the Tampa Bay Rowdies is more of the prototypical look we've seen in the opening 10 matches. Cruz just working a bit further underneath, trying to triangulate between Schneider and Dolabella. More of a 4-back build, and most importantly, Conway, who can start to work off the left but jump onto that front line. The Tampa Bay Rowdies, when they did move into the final third, they did a great job getting there, just struggled with the personnel in the right places. Now with Conway, when he can help bridge the gap with MD Myers, create a little bit more depth, it's more options for the Rowdies, 30 yards and in.
Jones all the way back to Fondes. Flicked on for Akale, cut off by Dos Santos, and Waite clears. Jones dispossessed. There's Evan Conway flashing for the first time since coming on at half. Perez. Dos Santos. Duncan upfield.
Nice ball.
Donovan. Cutting in, feeding through. Behind by Serrano.
Really good release, though, by Lou City. Spring numbers forward. And the counter argument be is you're pulling Chris Donovan out of that 9 position centrally, but excellent with supportive numbers as they move in transition. A much better job, especially Against a team like the Tampa Bay Rowdies, who overload you with numbers, a much better job by Louisville City of closing the gap between the three different units in the first half. Really just the one time that Jamali Waite picked it up, came right through the heart. Remember, he found Sebastian Cruz, and then got good link up with Dolabella, and they were off to the races. Otherwise, most of the game on the perimeter.
Perez take quarters out there. His man twice, Serrano. Good possession for Tampa Bay. Ostrom. Space on this left flank, closed down by Akale. Dolabella. It's Cruz. Popping up just about everywhere on the field. Stalemate between these sides, and they're both content to play this way. Louisville City comfortable without the ball, more intent on countering and getting out in transition. Rowdies want that control. They want that central control. Davila spraying it wide for Serrano. And Serrano had it blocked. Dia. Davila. This hit by Schaefer, but kept in by Jamali Waite. Waite's conceding the corner.
Would you look at that at the corner of Whiskey and Soccer? Who knew?
That's all you're going to think about the rest of the game.
I'll turn my attention away from the Modelo bar at the other end.
If there's something you could say nice about Louisville City at the moment, it's that whiskey and soccer are your two favorite things.
Oh, man. Could go for some skillet cornbread. I'll send the Groove Machine out to get it for me. Incredible supporters group for Louisville City. Always setting the tone. Right side of your screen behind the goal.
Still want a reason to erupt. Hasn't happened as of late. 3-game losing skid. 2 of those games on the road. But in the midst of this losing skid, the home game they had against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Well, without a goal in that one. And a yellow shown to Serrano. Pardon me, Adams.
I'll tell you, with the challenge that's given here by Kyle Adams, I think it's by the referee a little bit more after the fact than the initial infraction, the arm up high. As there's contact on the lower body as well that still would have gotten him in trouble. But with the outstretched arm, almost assuredly going to end up with a card in that situation.
Schneider drops a dangerous ball in. Adams just allowing it out for a corner. Tangling of the legs, it looked like, right by the post. Conway and Jones, no extras afterwards. They both realized it was incidental.
And he took one across the nose here, Evan Conway. All the traffic just in front of Louisville's goalkeeper, Danny Fondes. You watch the left side of your screen. Oh, yeah, that'll leave a mark.
And there at the end, up into each other. Maybe there was a little bit of intent there from Conway. It looked like he sort of went out of his way. You can't judge intent, but sometimes you can just look at what your eyes are telling you. From the corner. We'll do it again from the opposite side. This 0-0 scoreline, 2 of the names we've said the least. The number 9s for both teams. Chris Donovan for Louisville City. M.D. Myers for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And the Rowdies find their target on a set piece here. 3 goals this season for Myers. 15 last year, 14 the year before that in his 2 years with the Charleston Battery. Schneider. Again, it's Schneider. Still numbers forward after the corner. Schneider, a ball in again, headed clear by Tosh. Services have been easy to deal with tonight on both sides. Takeoff. Takeoff in. There's Myers at the near post. It's wide. Let's take a look at the Best Western upcoming schedule here on CBS Sports Network. You'll see the Rowdies again in about a week and a half as they take on the Charleston Battery, MD Myers' former club. A week after that, USL League One action on ESPN2, Forward Madison and Fort Wayne. And then later in the month, the Las Vegas Lights and Orange County, late night, 10:30 Eastern, here on CBS Sports Network.
The Charleston Battery have closed the gap virtually, just one behind that final playoff position that Lou City currently occupies. And the great run of form that has been the start to 2026 for Danny Stone in Orange County. Still sitting in second. Puzzling midweek result for San Antonio, by the way, who's in first in that back and forth affair against Jacksonville, 4-4.
Long run for Donovan to keep it in. He does. There's no pressure there yet either. McFadden. Sun streaming back through Lynn Family Stadium as Tampa Bay defends safely once again. Davila. Jones. Not afraid to stride through. Jones, but lost it. Out of position. Rowdies don't make him pay. He gets back in his spot. Rowdies made the one change at half, and they're readying another. Yanis Learman is up and ready. Told it'll be for Pedro Dolabella. McFadden. In behind, flag stays down for Serrano. Ray Serrano, back post looking for Dia. Takeoff there, scrambling at the end, out for a corner.
Love that move, though, from Aiden McFadden, the way he drives in at an angle. You start to compress the entire back line, opens up the ball down into the channel. Really good vision from the right wing back. Watch the way that he pivots his body, just that initial touch to get out in front of Cruz. You get Ostrom to jump the route, and then smart by Serrano. There's pressure on the backside by Amadou Dia, but a decent build there for Lou City.
Spent a lot of time on the road the last couple of weeks, Louisville City, but they haven't scored a goal at home since April 25th. From the corner, sent packing. Adams almost reached there. He has to be careful on a yellow. Perez has a run coming right through the middle, feeds it that way. Fondes read it, has it. Comes a change for the Rowdies. Confirmed Learman in, Dolabella out. Learman, one of the players alluded to earlier, Dominic Casciato, waiting for a batch of guys to get back healthy. It'll increase competition in training, which he feels will help them take it to an even higher level in the matches. Scary thought for a team that's 7-0-3 through 10 games. Learman making just his second appearance of the season. Now back healthy, but not fully fit yet. Quite ready to start. Nathan Dos Santos looks to be a cut above the eye. It's concerning for the Rowdies. It's up to the training staff now to plug it up as quickly as they can. Get their captain and anchor of that back line back out there as soon as possible. I can imagine that Dominic Casciano will wait as long as he possibly can before he subs off Nathan Dos Santos if there were any issue here. Turn him into a mummy.
Halloween is right around the corner, isn't it?
Is 6 months, 5 months around the corner, do you?
Exactly, yeah.
Right. Okay.
You've seen my life. It might as well be. It's either an eternity or just around the corner.
Well, on that cue, a costume change here. They needed to get a new jersey out there for Dos Santos because he got blood on his initial jersey. Pasquarello, the assistant coach, acting as kit manager there as well, sprinted over to the bench and grabbed the backup kit. Playing down a man right now, the Rowdies. And it's a very key man to be missing at the moment. And Dos Santos still being patched up, bottom of your screen. Now the other way through Conway, feeding Akoff. Dion Akoff, back through for Conway. It squeaks through for Myers! The offside flag comes up, but MD Myers nearly opening the scoring at the hour mark.
That's all about the turn from Max Schaefer in the midfield. Max Schneider, excuse me, beautiful. And as he sliced it, notice 4 different players wearing a Lou City jersey condensing in on the midfielder. Conway over the back shoulder run. When that initial ball is played is the real question, because it's incidental coming off the defender, which means if he was in an onside position initially, if it comes off a Lou City defender, he's not offside. But that initial ball, I do believe he was in behind the back line.
There's a couple of things at work here. First and foremost, no VAR, so the call made is the call that stands. It remains 0-0. To your point, that's what Tampa Bay was arguing. MD Myers sprinted to Nabil Ben Salah, the referee, immediately and was gesturing that it came off Louisville. It came off Louisville. Simply coming off Louisville doesn't change the fact if it's incidental. If it's intentional, if he came across to try and clear it in that moment, Kyle Adams, that negates the offside and it'd be a good goal. But it looked to be incidental from Kyle Adams. And that would keep it offside for MD Myers.
And also, watch the high part of your screen when this first ball is played. He's offside.
Yep.
Yeah.
Call.
Well done by the refereeing crew. And I hate saying this in the moment. That's also really well covered on the pieces that I didn't acknowledge. I thought you did a great job of, filling in the gaps there.
Thank you. The referee license comes in handy every now and then. I let it lapse 2 years ago, but the knowledge is still there.
That's big of me to admit that I didn't get it all right. I didn't want to belittle you in the moment.
That's all right. It's all right. Well, I mentioned it's time to mummify Nathan Dos Santos. They finally did it. Halloween right around the corner, as you say. And just note, he's wearing number 76 now. Had blood on the old kit. So switching from 62 to 76. Neither numbers that you would really think synonymous with your top center back. Maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 2. Not 62 or 76, but that's what we're going with tonight for Nathan Dos Santos. What number were you? Did you go for a low number?
The answer is yes. I wore 9 for the majority of my career until I went overseas.
Were you 123 then?
Well, 2 things happened. Number 1, it's bad luck to have a 9 on the back line.
Okay.
I also quickly ran into a depth issue in Germany where, especially in Hamburg, I wasn't the first choice center back. Hard to believe when Vincent Kompany was on the back line. So I wore squad number 45, but to keep my confidence high, 4 + 5 is 9.
Maybe that's why you didn't make it, though, because you said 9 is bad luck on the back line. So
that's why I wore 45, though. I moved away from it. Some would say that it was injuries and confidence and consistency.
It's the adding up to number 9.
Yeah, it was probably the numbers. You're right.
Believe it or not, in my illustrious high school career, at the towering size of 5'6", I did have a center back's number, and I did play there at times. I defended the post on corners.
Oh boy.
That was it. Dos Santos not showing any fear, rising up and testing the bandaging. This might sound silly, but how much does the bandaging affect a player? Confidence, just having something else on your head that you're not used to having.
And the only thing I would say is if it's tugging on his eyes at all, which it doesn't look to be for Nate Dos Santos. Had plenty of lesion, bump, you name it, blood drawn, and never affected me. You start to get into something starting to cover the eye, removes partial vision. That's an easy one, but I don't see anything right now for Nate Dos Santos that would affect him. It is interesting that in basically a 15-minute span, although it's been stop-start over the past 5 minutes, Dom Casciato moved out of that 3-back that they built really well in the first half, lacking the final ball short. Change into the 4, and then by pulling Dolabella off, he's gone back into the 3-back system with Giannis Learman coming in. The great thing you get out of it, though, is they are all really comfortable with the ball at their feet, and all come from not only the experience in Dom Casciato's system, but previous stops where every manager at the pro or collegiate level expected them to be just that. A commanding presence on the back line physically, but then as you started to move forward, really comfortable in possession to help pick the opponent apart.
20 minutes into the second half, still looking for an icebreaker. There has never been a 0-0 game in the history of this rivalry. Take that for what it's worth. Either us uncovering that stat, jinxed it, and this is going to be 0-0, or us mentioning it is going to spring about a goal. Well, this season, the way the Rowdies have been playing defensively, it's not surprising to see at least 1-0 up there. 6 clean sheets, leading the league. Simon Bird said one of the key areas of conversation this week was getting back to clean sheets for Louisville City. It's been a minute. Donovan with the Kale in tow. Oh, he peeled away from it just as Donovan looked to release. Dia steps up and wins it. Kale, advantage played. Well, Kale feeding it through. Ray Serrano in front. It's loose on the doorstep. And the referee blew the whistle. Was it out over the end line? It's offside on Serrano.
And that's a really difficult one to be able to tell if he's in an offside position or not. Brian Schaefer was right atop the 18 on the back shoulder of Donovan, and when this ball was released, looked to me that Serrano was onside. Watch the top part of your screen, pause there. I would probably side against the linesman. Doesn't matter. Ball doesn't end up in the back of the net anyway.
Benefit of the doubt, we don't have the same vantage point, but tight. Andy Myers brought down. Still a ways to go in this one. Not sure how you'd slice it if you're Louisville City. On one hand, a win is what they talked about. Simon Bird getting this in the right direction. Just one win, all it takes to get the confidence going. Stabilizing draw against an unbeaten team would feel good too. Either of those in question now, though, the attack from the Rowdies as McFadden heads it out for a corner.
It's a big boy tackle in the midfield to release down into the corner from the Rowdies. Duncan took the brunt of it, though. Seemed clean in the moment, and great recovery by Aiden McFadden on the back post. Repressed by the Tampa Bay Rowdies, sees them condense the field, and I'll tell you, leaving your feet, studs coming up high. You know, the way the game has been called, wouldn't be shocked if the referee would have blown the whistle there.
Schneider, who went in on the challenge, and Schneider will take the corner. Schneider curls one in. Jones, the first to it. And a foul against the Rowdies on the back post. Pair of changes coming for Louisville City as well. Aiden McFadden's night will end. Manny Perez will take his spot. And then further up the field, Jansen Wilson will replace Makwele Akale. Was wondering when we would see Jansen Wilson, 4 goals and 2 assists, leading the charge for Louisville City. The answer is in the 70th minute.
I like the idea of Makwele Akale into this game. Unfortunately for him, it didn't pan out. Lowest amount of touches, lowest amount of patches for any player wearing a Louisville City uniform. That includes goalkeeper Danny Fondez. So the change opened up a little bit more speed by Jansen Wilson to release with that front three. That's a good shift, though, by Aiden McFadden. Defensively, a lot more asked of him. Did a really good job of keeping the game at bay and making smart decisions, especially in his last second defending. Amadou Dia has played the game high on the left. They had yet to really reciprocate that on the right flank overall. Now you've got fresh legs in both Manny Perez and Jansen Wilson.
Wilson's first touch gave it away. Difficult one for him to deal with, to be fair.
Well, this is twofold for the Rowdies. It puts more pressure up high, but that also means you have to release Charlie Ostrom further up the field. As you do so, you gain the balance, the ability to work off of each other. Service from both flanks. You also start to expose that outside flank to the 2 substitutes of Wilson and Perez.
Second half that has seen neither side register a shot on target. Just 1 shot, period. It belongs to the Rowdies. They've maintained their control. Possessions at 66% in this second half, but what do they have to show for it? Ostrom. Conway. Wide of Ostrom. Plenty of time for a decisive goal in this one. Louisville City, and even a draw would feel stabilizing just because of how they've done against the teams they've played. Back to that in a second as Cruz feeds it wide for Akoff. Akoff looking for Conway. Tosh nods it clear. Akoff. Drifts in play on the backspin. Donovan gives it right back to Dos Santos. Circling back to the point that I was mentioning for Louisville City, their record against teams above and below the playoff line at this point, 4-0-1 against non-playoff teams, 1-4 against playoff teams. So even a draw here tonight would feel stabilizing, but long way to go still. Goal differential sticks out as well. Get up on the teams below that line. And to be fair, the one win they have against the team above the line, they undid.
Yeah.
It's Miami FC, who they just lost to 4-3.
They beat them week 2 as well, where a lot of teams are still finding their bearings. Your quality of work compared to the quality opponent, always how you're going to be judged. But to your point, at this point in time in the season, wouldn't really matter who it is if you're Louisville City that you're facing in the opposite end of the field. You just want to take a step forward and get 3 points.
Long throw, looking for Donovan. Just saw Evan Davila sprint to the halfway line. He'll be the next sub for Louisville City. Brother of Taylor, who's on it now. Taylor Davila end line, feeding it through right into the chest of Jamali Waite.
Notice they haven't really gone vertical when they've been able to push down onto the byline. Louisville City, they can't. Schaefer 6'3", Jonas Learman, 6'2". Feels like everybody on the defensive front for the Rowdies is a tree. What a ball that is. Push the pace.
Takeoff with Conway streaking, and Myers there as well. Goes for a goal himself. Almost surprised Fondez for a goal kick. Knowing smile on his face as he walks back up the field. Called his own number. Almost caught everybody by surprise.
Beautifully taken, though, to find Evan Conway. And then as he works here, you know, I like the touch to push Amadou Dia. The problem is as Akoff goes to the right side, he removes the ability for any other option to be chosen. So to your point of catching Danny Fondez off guard, you're right. It's also the lower percentage that you could be able to attack. Sort of been the story of the night for both teams, to be fair. When an attacking opportunity has shown itself, haven't fully been able to commit to the higher percentage opportunity.
Evan Davila set to check in for Zach Duncan on the Louisville City side. Marco Micheletto for Louis Perez on the Tampa Bay Rowdies side, we're told. Players up and ready. Next stoppage, quarter of an hour remaining here on CBS Sports Network. Louisville City and the Tampa Bay Rowdies scoreless. Alongside the ex-German pro Devin Kerr, I'm Joe Malfa. Old rivalry rekindled. Two of the defining teams of the USL Championship over the last decade. Last couple of years, they've not been in sync. 2023, Louisville City a down year. Last 2 years, Rowdies down years. They're back on top now. Here's Myers fed through. MD Myers battling still, keeping it alive and scoring. Oh, what an individual effort. MD Myers putting the Rowdies on top.
The tactical change by head coach Dom Casciato from the first whistle finally breaks through in the 76th. Dion Akoff's high line right down through the channel. Beautifully hit by the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Catches the diagonal, moves both center backs to the near side. Now you've got a one-on-one with MD Myers and Sean Toach. Lady luck? Absolutely. But that's that quick reaction. The ability to just drop your shoulder down into the turf, spin your studs, and make something out of nothing for what has been one of the most prolific goal scorers in championship play over the last 3 seasons. Striking again, and the Rowdies finally getting their breakthrough.
All the footwork on that from MD Myers. Avoiding Fondez, keeping his balance, finding Pater. 4th goal of the season. This happened during the celebration. Marco Micheletto on for the Rowdies, replacing Perez. Evan Davila in for Zach Duncan on the Lou City side, now facing a deficit. At risk of losing a 4th straight in the regular season, Louisville City. Lou City in the celebrations did hold on to that sub. Davila was set to check in. They kept him off. Duncan still out there for the time being. 4th straight loss would be a first for Louisville City. Never happened in club history. And that is what is now 12 minutes away. Plus stoppage. Rowdies have lost 3 straight in the rivalry. That could be about to change.
Sean Toach just arriving a bit heavier than Simon Bird would like. Maybe a half chance from distance, but didn't necessarily need to step in. They had numbers behind the ball.
add to it now, the Rowdies. Davila heads clear, Micheletto recovers. Takeoff. Past his man, delivering to Myers, diving header clear. Something we touched on early in this game. Evan, you and I coming into the game, the Rowdies, we had said never really below a 7, consistent. And in the long run, in a league where some teams have shown inconsistencies, that can bode well. I don't know that they've even been a 7 tonight, the Rowdies, but they capitalize on one moment, one lapse from Louisville City, and are on the brink of 8-0-3.
There are two things that also stick out under Dom Casciato that he's been able to take from last year's team and roll it over into what is 21 of 24 new faces on the roster this season. Get out in front, stay out in front. They have now avoided defeat in their last 14 games when scoring the first goal in championship play. Their last loss when scoring first and then losing was to North Carolina in August of 2025. This team is all about control, and normally when they find the dagger first, they do not relinquish that lead.
And that game back in August, that was really the start of things. Going back to the beginning of September then last year, it's 18 with just 1 loss in the regular season for Dominic Casciato and crew. So that was a game that really proved to be that final wake-up call for that group. Perez won't get there. A trio of subs waiting in the wings for Louisville City now, down a goal. Evan Davila, Sam Gleedle, Tola Shawunmi, all attacking-minded subs set to check in. Also indicate a shape change, unless Shawunmi is subbing on for Donovan. I'm told that's not the case, so could be a shift into a 4-4-2 for Louisville City. It's what they've turned to when chasing a goal, and they've had some success against Loudoun earlier in the year, against Miami. And they've shifted into that, but it's also signaled emergency situations for them. And here come the changes. It will be Shawunmi for Serrano, Davila for Duncan, and Gleedle for Dia.
That's well done by Amadou Dia. Busy on that left flank for Lou City, just tired legs and trying to inject some life into this group. Duncan's night, the war of attrition within the midfield, who has been battered and bruised over 82 minutes.
Looking for the answer. Moved in by Lou City. Coming all the numbers forward now. Shawunmi lunging in, pressuring on Micheletto. Myers, 76th minute, 4th goal of the season. Landed him right off the top, the crown jewel of Tampa Bay's offseason. Him and Nathan Dos Santos both. One up top, one on the back end. One of the quotes that sticks out from Dominic Casciato, who has plenty more resources now in USL Championship with the Rowdies than he did in USL League One at Omaha. But the quote that sticks out, he didn't want the resources to hinder his resourcefulness. And they've,
what a quote, by the way.
Great quote. Philosopher
Unreal.
Dominic Casciato. They've searched far and wide. We showed it early. League One players who have stepped up, 6 of them this season. But spending money where you need to. One of those being MD Myers and paying big dividends for the Rowdies. It's a perfect marriage of the wallet and of the brains. On the way to an 8-0-3 start, perhaps. Dez gets there and cleans this one. The other big thing that stuck out in that conversation, Dom Cacciato had asked him what the help was joining middle of last season, how that helped him lay a foundation. He said it was actually the opposite. It made him and his staff realize that they needed wholesale changes, not just some peripheral changes, and that's why it's 21 new players in, and then searching far and wide, combining the resources and the resourcefulness. So it's twofold this turnaround. Out of 12 teams to begin a season, 10 matches unbeaten in USL Championship. On the brink of making it 11. Throw coming again from Schaefer. Slowing things down to a crawl. The Rowdies with 5 minutes to play. Schaefer gets it where he wants it near the penalty spot. Akoff on the turn. Schneider feeding it through for Conway.
Nice tackle. That's really difficult stuff as a defender from Toch. That's going to be a card after the fact here, but Sean Toch right atop the box. His hips are square, his feet are flat. To step through, win it, and then release to Manny Perez. Really well done. Tough defending in open space. Beautiful, just shifting side to side. The lateral movement, excellent from the center back who's playing more out of the 4 now.
The alarming stat for Lou City, they don't have a shot still in this second half. For a team that coming into tonight is desperate for a win, 3-game losing streak, chance to build the confidence, get your season on track. Even before they went down a goal, you'd think they'd be pressing. Since they've gone down a goal now 10 minutes, you'd think they'd be pressing. No shots in this second half. Good change here. Davila. Really been the night for Lou City in the last few weeks. Crowd that in some ways has been perplexed. Lou City haven't scored at home since the end of April. Part of that, had a few games on the road, but also held without a goal in defeat against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. On the verge of being held without a goal in defeat tonight.
It's still within reach to at least grab one, but feels like Louisville when they come forward. I talked about troublesome decision-making, lack of options in the first half. In the second half, anytime they've come forward, they've had to work Donovan out of the middle and away from those advanced roles where you want him to be in terms of box entries.
Wilson going for goal, curling it wide. It's the first shot of the half for Louisville City.
Well, you have to start somewhere, and it begins with confrontation in the midfield. Good job on the quick turnover. The DNA of Louisville City always about the high defending, and then the second and third repress that intends to throw the opposition off. Wilson wanted to hit it with laces, but he had to put some English on it to try and pick out the far post.
Rowdies readying another change. Carson Henderlong told to replace MD Myers, whose goal is the difference right now. 12 minutes ago, holding up as the winner for the Rowdies on the road. Louisville came into the night in 3rd place. In the live table, you see them fall to 6th with other results elsewhere. Galito scooping it through. Shawunmi pressuring. Lunging in late. Really won it. Toch. Around Cruz. Schneider releases for Micheletto. Marco Micheletto chased down by the fresh-legged Evan Davila. Overzealous in his pursuit. Free kick for Tampa Bay. Dominic Casciato trying to cancel out that sub. Kalin Radosov, the fourth official, was set to pop the board and signal for the change, but now with an attacking set piece, you want Myers out there. Top goal scorer. For all that, just taken to the corner for Micheletto.
It's game management, trying to kill it off. Smartly done.
Ostrom now feeding it through toward Myers. Just out of his reach. 6 minutes of stoppage time. For Lou City to try and find an equalizer and salvage something from the night. Another chapter in the illustrious history of this rivalry. The 19th meeting. As it stands, it would be the 18th of 19, decided by just one goal. Here's that change now. Henderlong for Myers. Andy Myers leaves with what would be the winner.
His work rate off the ball and just making a rabbit come out of a hat. It was good defending on the back shoulder by Sean Toch, but the contact that occurs, he can't recover quick enough. Adams doesn't close the space down in front of MD Myers. Quick little cut back across the body. Fondes has to commit. And MD Myers has once again found the back of the net. Incredible pickup in the offseason for the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Sixth in all comps, fourth in the regular season. Last two regular seasons, he scored 15 and 14 respectively. Perez, end line, Perez. Took a deflection on the service. Took it just away from its target. Now it's Conway, could be off to the races. Toch trying to track him down, as is Adams. Conway rolling it through. Back from Henderlong. Evan Conway. Adams gets in the way and out for a corner.
That's a good recovery. Well worked by the Tampa Bay Rowdies in open transition. Wanted him to cut this earlier as Kyle Adams came back across, hit that ball to the far post. Legs seem to be lacking somehow for the substitute of Henderlong. Well done on the lateral ball back across for Conway. That looked to be in the upper corner, if not for Kyle Adams getting behind it.
Slow saunter from Micheletto to the corner. No hurry. They've earned their lead, and they won all 3 points. Henderlong there for support. Time of the game to go short and just keep it in the corner. There it is. It's off of Henderlong, goal kick. Didn't take up as much time as they were hoping. Down in the corner. 4 minutes of stoppage time remaining for Louisville City to try and find something. That's a yellow. UFL's Louisville Kings might want to take a look at Marco Micheletto's tape. Good open field tackle.
Certainly don't mind it. All the space available as they started to move high, and doesn't look to be a clean play on the ball, does it?
I think so.
Better commit the infraction there, regain yourself behind the ball, get organization, and then go instead of continuing to concede the opposite way.
Micheletto. Cruz through. Chance to put this away. Schneider ends it. The Tampa Bay Rowdies continue their winning ways.
Changes from the head coach, the understanding within the system, but impact always constant when it comes to the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Well done by Micheletto to find the diagonal of Cruz. Opens up space against the trailing back line. And with this late run for Schneider through the midfield, now the 7th goal by the Tampa Bay Rowdies in the final 15 minutes of play in the championship. That's the most of any team. Always a will, always a way. And the Rowdies have had full control this championship season.
Schneider's first of the year. Anything else just for fun? Conway for goal, wide. Fourth straight loss for Louisville City. First time in club history that's happened. Tampa Bay Rowdies 11 unbeaten to begin the season. 7th time in league history that's happened. Getting into rarefied air, the Rowdies. Their first win over Lou City since 2024. Had lost 3 straight in the rivalry. Louisville City's been on top the last couple of years. A couple of Players' Shields. Finishing top of the table. Now it's the Rowdies' turn on top. And just 30 more seconds to make what we've known for quite some time official. The lead was taken in the 76th minute. A goal from MD Myers. Louisville City have not registered a shot on target since then. Just 1 shot period. Max Schneider with the exclamation point to officially seal the deal. Final whistle goes. The Rowdies reign supreme, and their torrid pace in 2026 continues. Now 8-0-3 to start the year.
Give them credit. Took a bit of time in the first half to get their footing. Tactical changes on both sides of each half. They were the better attacking team, defensively still sound. Only allowed 1 shot in the second half to Louisville. Didn't hit the target. And as always, found special moments from that man, MD Myers, who continues to find a way to tickle the nylon. They become just the 7th team in the history of the championship to go 11 games unbeaten to start the season. Brilliant.
There may be no end in sight to this unbeaten run with the form they're in, with the way they're going about it, business-like, week in, week out. USL on CBS Sports is presented by Best Western. Tampa Bay takes it 2-0 over Louisville. Back in a moment to wrap things up from Lynn Family Stadium. Rowdies players finding a smattering of Rowdies supporters in the crowd celebrating another victory. 8-0-3 to begin the season on the road against their rivals in decisive fashion. It all happened in the second half, and then once it happened, it was pretty much done and dusted. Louisville City had no response after MD Myers gave the Rowdies the lead.
Let's go all the way to the 76th minute. So there's a quarter hour left within the match. The tactical change early on, though, was very clear that Dom Casciato wanted to win the transition game, and he wanted to win it on the width of the field. Dion Akoff very high all match long, but finally they get their breakthrough. He starts on a crossing pattern from the inside. Even though the first chance doesn't open up here for MD Myers, you've still isolated him against the center backs. Adams out of position. When he starts to drop back in, Toach can't recover quick enough, not his fault, and MD Myers grabs his fourth of the season. That would be the game winner. But really, the dagger for Lou City was in the 94th. What a ball that was by Micheletto. To understand that he's got to allow Cruz to get out of the pocket, to then open up all the space just inside the top of the 18. At that point in time, it's ceremonial only. Schneider into the bottom corner. Rowdies grab another 3 points. 11 games unbeaten to start this season. Beautiful from the Tampa Bay Rowdies on the road.
The stats really don't paint the picture. It never really felt like Louisville City had a pulse in this game.
No, and to be fair, it's not like the Tampa Bay Rowdies ran away with this attacking-wise. However, they did fully prevent Louisville from really creating anything in the final third. I love the fact that even though it wasn't the Rowdies' most dominating game on the attacking end, I was just telling you this stat. MD Myers has now scored 33 goals in league play regular season since coming in 2024. 16 of those have either been a game winner or a game-tying goal. The ability that even when it's not your night as a team or an individual to find a special moment for your most impactful attacking piece has to be a tip of the cap for the Tampa Bay Rowdies as he gets the opening goal on the night, proves to be the game winner. And again, the Rowdies sit atop of the Players' Shield conversation.
They will reconvene on August 1st in Tampa. You'll see the Rowdies next Wednesday, June 10th here on CBS Sports Network as they take on the Charleston Battery. Coming up next, UFC Reloaded, UFC 265, Lewis versus Gunn. My broadcast partner, Devin Kerr, and our outstanding CBS Sports Network crew. I'm Joe Malpa saying so long from Louisville, where the Rowdies take it 2-0 over Louisville City. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. been the defining rivalry of the USL Championship over the last decade and the last couple of years. It's been Louisville City dominating the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Different story, though, tonight.
Tight game between both teams, but all the more reason why you have to really acknowledge the effort by the Tampa Bay Rowdies in their 2-0 victory. They were definitely the better team on the attacking end, but opportunities were few and far between. The whole game plan coming in, though, from head coach Dom Casciato of the Tampa Bay Rowdies was to beat Louisville City in behind, in transition, and making sure that you create numbers up high. And they did that from the wingback spot. Dean Akoff, incredible game out on that right flank, but finally finding the breakthrough in a 76th minute as he works down to the channel. They find their talisman, MD Myers, who, even though he doesn't get it the first time, the second and the third effort gets the opening goal for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Defensively, they make changes. They start to lock things down. Louisville City only had one shot in the second half. It did not hit the 8x8, and instead, they bided their time, waited for Louisville to come out of their shell, and pounced. The one argument you can make about the Tampa Bay Rowdies, 11 games unbeaten into the season, is they've struggled to close games out and really create that separation. Not the case tonight. They get a second from Max Schneider. They are now 11 games unbeaten to start the year, just the 7th team in league history to be able to do so.
They take it 2-0 over Louisville City. These teams will meet again on August 1st. Can't wait to see what this rivalry has in store as this year continues to unfold. Couple of years they've not been in sync. 2023, Louisville City a down year. Last 2 years, Rowdies down years. They're back on top now. Here's Myers fed through. MD Myers battling still, keeping it alive and scoring. Oh, what an individual effort! MD Myers putting the Rowdies on top. Last couple of years they've not been in sync. 2023. Louisville City a down year. Last 2 years, Rowdies down years. They're back on top now. Here's Myers fed through. MD Myers battling still, keeping it alive and scoring. Oh, what an individual effort! MD Myers putting the Rowdies on top. Last couple of years, they've not been in sync. 2023, Louisville City a down year. Last 2 years, Rowdies down years. They're back on top now. Here's Myers fed through. MD Myers battling still, keeping it alive and scoring! Oh, what an individual! Couple of years they've not been in sync. 2023, Louisville City at down year. Last 2 years, Rowdies down years. They're back on top now. Here's Myers fed through. MD Myers battling still, keeping it alive and scoring. Oh, what an individual effort! MD Myers put